Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospects Central 101. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Keelan.
and we're going to be watching 35 of Derrick Barnes' best plays. He is the linebacker that the Lions traded up for in the fourth round of the 2021 NFL Draft. One pick after Monroe St. Brown at 113. So unfortunately, there was no tape up except for one game from 2018, 3 years ago. So not really feeling that personally. Wish that would have been his freshman year, redshirt freshman year, or sophomore year, depending on what he came out as. So yeah, we're going to do this instead. Kind of talk a little bit more about some of the positive things and some of the upside that he can bring to the table next year as a third or fourth linebacker, depending on how the competition goes with Jalen Reeves-Maben. So I will say a few things that I've seen about him and read about him so far is he's definitely got the pass rushing ability. That's going to be something that he does very frequently. Is blitz. He's going to be a very aggressive blitzing linebacker, which is going to be very nice because you're really starting to see some of the vision here in terms of the pass rush moves and the pass rushing. Ali McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, both one gap penetrators who can explode through and create pressure from the inside. We got to see now we're seeing a blitzing linebacker in Derrick Barnes. You got to see them re-sign Romeo Okwara this offseason. We obviously still have Trey Flowers locked in for at least the rest of this year as a starter and possibly even longer. Honestly, hopefully even longer if he goes back to the way he played in previous seasons. So you're really starting to get a feel for okay, this is a team that's really going to prioritize pass rush, coverage, and run D, uh, possibly in that order from our defense moving forward. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do as a pass rusher, and maybe starting to send four, send five, and generate pressure through the middle and the interior, flush these guys out into the uh, contain rush into the pocket collapse rush from our ends. So definitely the way of the future in the league, at least in my opinion. I've been talking about that for a few years now, since MP and BQ came over, making sure that we contain some of these more mobile quarterbacks and pushing these guys out into the pocket collapse around the edge is a good way to do that. So that's a couple of things to look for. Very fast, athletic 40. Not the best 10-yard split, you said, though?
Yeah, just back to that. He ran a 4.58, which was 91.2 percentile. A 20-yard split of 2.58, which was a 98.8 percentile.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
But his 10-yard split was 1.7 seconds, which was a 29.7 percentile.
oh, okay. So he generally has like a slow first step, but
That's
once he kind of gets moving, he's got that elite top end speed.
He also is extremely strong. Was in the 90, almost 96 percentile with his bench press.
Oh
Had
my. Okay.
29 reps.
Oh my. Okay.
What was almost not in the 90 percentile with his vertical jump.
Okay. So a little bit of explosion there too, which is interesting. Okay.
He is 75 percentile in broad jump, so not or 74.3,
It's still above
so
average by quite a bit.
above average. Yeah. Came in a bit undersized, 6 feet tall, pretty much 6 foot. 238, which is a fine weight. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
in the Quint Trisha area. Not all linebackers have to be 260 pounds.
Yep. Shout out to Jacksonville, by the way.
Sad.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, no, but 6 feet tall, 238.
Did he run three
His
cone shuttle?
RAS was, pardon me?
Did he skip three cone shuttle
Didn't do the 3 cone.
or the
And his
shuttle?
shuttle, 432, 64 percentile.
Okay, so about average there.
Came in with an 84.2% or percentile in his total RAS.
Okay, so yeah, it's That's good. It's not like crazy anything elite, but it's well above average, so that's nice.
And shout out Kent for his hard work to get this for us.
Full show. I guess he's going to be the guy who stripped that.
He is number 55.
Good linebacker number.
It is. Not that it really matters now because he could wear one if he so chose.
Okay, good solid tackling fundamentals. That's nice to see. At least on that particular rep. Obviously, these are some of his best plays, but and yep, definitely pass rush here. He's actually going to line up a jack on this particular rep. It's a little bit of a counter move.
He's got some good hand usage.
Oh, he actually can be backside. Okay, so he is. Okay, so he's going to be the guy that works on the right tackle on this particular play. So he's going to be again at the jack spot up here, and just right over the top with the swim move.
Nice.
A nice backside pursuit.
For someone who is touted as a off-ball linebacker, he's got pretty good pass rush moves.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but he's kind of got like that Jimmy Collins vibe to him. Someone who's going to be predominantly like an actual linebacker, but he can play jack or stud. So if we end up running 24 front looks, probably not preferable this year, given our linebacker depth and our defensive tackle depth being as strong as he is. But if we would ever switch to like 24 front nickel, or run like 41 aggressive, or something along those lines, or 33 aggressive even, if we wanted to run 3 front. For those who don't know about 33 aggressive, that's what the Steelers are known for. They put their 2 linebackers on the ends. They have their 1 middle linebacker and then the 3 interior guys. He'd be a pretty nice fit as either the studs or in a jack spot. Okay. Just explodes right through the middle.
Completely unrelated, but apparently some fat dude with a pencil behind his ear announced the 7th round pick for the Patriots today.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's unfortunate.
Why?
Why not?
Oh, okay, so you get to see some knockback power here as well. He's going to be the true Mike on this play. That was very Kuechly-esque. Reads the gap and attacks with nice knockback power. That's good to see. Okay, looks like he's probably going to be this guy up here at the jack spot. Okay, nice stunt. Oh, nice. Didn't get affected by the cut block. So this is what I wanted to see. I talked about this consistently on repeat when Devin Bush was a prospect. Right. So Devin Bush, just every time he got cut blocked, he was completely taken out of a play. So they're running a 24 front look here, which is my favorite personal package. And they run a nice stunt. He gets cut by the running back, but he gets through it, keeps the motor going, and gets the sack. That's a great job of playing through the cut. And that wasn't even really a bad executed cut block either by the back. Probably going to be the start at that point. See, this is a 33 aggressive. So whenever I refer to that, either in the rest of this video or in the future, you have your 3 interior defenders, your 2 studs, and then your flank. Nice. Okay. Is that him on the right tackle? Yep, looked like it was him on the right tackle. Uh, so, yeah. It's going to be this guy here, at the bottom, and just splits through, and that's the Minnesota I believe that's Tanner Morgan. Yep. The one thing we're seeing so far while this ad is playing is the pass rushing. And it's more likely than not going to be what he does at his best on day one. Is that gap shooting? Ooh, that was a nice bull rush. So he's going to be on the left tackle this time. He powers through him. Okay. Nice hand displacement here. Very, very nice stacking shed player. Is how he really projects as, I think, is kind of what they're going to end up using him for. Is they're probably going to put him at the same spot, in all honesty.
Yep.
And then just use him as a stacking shed guy.
He's gonna be the backup to Jamie Collins day one.
Yep.
Yep. He'll get snaps, especially. It's clear this regime's high on him. We wouldn't have
Traded up for him.
spent the capital to get him, so he will get his snaps behind Jamie Collins.
Yep, and of course special teams too. We got to see a little bit of that
Yep.
tackling, the physicality, the knockback power.
Oh yeah.
He'll be competing with JRM for the third linebacker spot even. So if we need to run 33 or 43 snaps in base, or obviously heavy sets in short yardage, he'll probably get some work in those situational roles as well too. Probably the guy on the right tackle here. Yep.
No. Yep, you're right. Good tackle.
Actually, technically, it's tight end. There, maybe? Because that's a 9 and that's a 4, so it has to be that one, or he's on inline. Oh, yeah, he was lined up at defensive end. Okay.
Mm-hmm. On the guard.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, what's that? Oh, I was looking at the wrong one.
They end up moving him inside because of the blitz, but
Yeah. Oh man.
oh, that was nice. And yeah, same thing there. Actually, going to put him on the end again. Okay, nice spin counter. Same thing, actually line him up hand and dirt again. Nice finish. Then the other thing we're seeing so far too, pretty consistently, again, these are less plays, but we are seeing quite a bit of motor here in terms of playing through the entire duration of the snap. Another 33 aggressive front here. I'm guessing one of those two guys is a safety. Nice. Yeah, he's going to be the start at the top here on the left tackle.
I love how most of these highlights have been him rushing the passer.
Yep.
I guess it's probably because people find sacks more entertaining than solid tackles lining up off the ball.
Well, and that's his role. I mean, we talked about that at the Open. Is that's going to be the thing? Then even off camera, I told you kind of to give you a little bit of a fair advantage. And that was going to be one of the things that we're really kind of going to be looking at for the most part.
Yep.
And that was his main role. And even then, we see him on the edge in some of these plays. So that's how Purdue in particular chose to utilize and develop his skill set, and that's probably why we took him is the loss of Jared Davis as that pass rushing linebacker, because we did want him back, by the way. He just ended up getting a better deal somewhere else. But Barnes is going to be JRM is not a pass rusher, really. And Collins, yeah, okay. Anzalone, I'm not too sure. I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of tape work on him yet. But this is going to be a guy where if you're rushing 5, he's going to be the 5th guy.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think for the most part, Anzalone is going to be the Mike linebacker.
Nice tackling. Coverage shot? Oh, nope, another pass rush. Okay. So yeah, he's going to be probably the guy at the top here. 152. Yep. Nice hand displacement. He's a very active hand usage, which is nice. Definitely going to be a good block shutter above all else. That's really what we're seeing so far. If we can gain anything from highlights, it's that he's going to be able to shed blocks day one. Probably that guy here would be my guess. Oh no, that's 6. Oh, okay. So they do drop him back in coverage on occasion. Interesting. So he's actually going to be right here to the right of the hash marks. Dropping in zone. Nice. And what you see from here, from him on this play, is we talk about this all the time when we do our pro film breakdowns, Keelan.
Yes.
Is rigging the routes and taking away the throwing lane.
Mm-hmm.
So he does that really, really well here, doing a nice job of rigging the throwing lane, undercutting the ball. Very, very Rams-esque type of defensive style of play there.
I was just about to say that, funny enough. We talked about that most when we were watching Rams defense tape. And
yes, yep, right in the throwing lane. Okay, so he's going to be, looks like the actual true Mike on this play. So versatility is another thing that we're kind of seeing from him so far too. We've seen him at high, we've seen him at Jack, we've seen him at stud, we've seen him at Sam, we've seen him at Mike, we've seen him quite a bit all over the field. That's another thing we can kind of glean from this, if anything. And there's that downhill ability I kind of told you about a little bit before we started too. How he's got that nice straight line burst. Okay, looks like he's going to be this guy here. And look at the reaction time. He's already flowing toward that side. Read the blocking here. Already flowing out. Oh my! And look how much ground he covers from the LOS to the running back. So he's gonna basically heel turn here, right here, and then once he turns at the 25, he explodes downhill. That's some really nice change of direction. Right there, boom, and then he just explodes when he gets moving straight line. That's nice. Nice ability to run off that cut. Honestly, kind of like what you expect to see from a running back. Like we talk about that all the time with those one-cut running back styles. Uh, he's kind of doing the same thing on that play, kind of with that, and that same kind of athletic technique.
Yeah.
Just one cut and then explode downhill. Same exact kind of thing from him there. I wonder if he was a running back in high school or before that. Learn how to do that. Yeah, right there. Boom, and he explodes downhill. It's good stuff. Oh, I missed him. He's going to be at.
Dang, that was a good shout. He played linebacker and running back in high school.
That makes sense, and you see that. I mean, I was able to tell that because of the things that he's showing on the tape so far. You see some of those skills able to translate. And on this play, it's the opposite. So the last play, we saw him flow to the right and then cut down. And this play, we're going to see him flow to his left and then flow up. So we're seeing kind of the exact opposite, but the same kind of thing still applies, right? You're still seeing that kind of fluidity and change of direction here. But really what happens is he starts to flow down and then he changes that angle a little bit, adjusts that pursuit angle, and then he explodes to the boundary, and that's when you see that straight line speed kick in. That's good stuff. Nice. So obviously this is not at all a direct comparison. This is way above ceiling. So I'm not trying to even say this is even a reasonably realistic outcome. But the types of things in terms of play style that I'm kind of seeing, at least as a run defender, is almost similar to Luke Kuechly. In the sense that you're seeing that rig and react element, and his reaction is so instantaneous, and you're seeing him would take very similar ball paths. So I wonder what that athletic comparison is. Because obviously Luke was a lot better in his 10-yard. But in terms of that 20-yard, you're really seeing that 20-yard split show. So I wonder if how his 20-yard and his 40-yard even kind of compared to a Luke Kuechly. Do you have the ability to look up Kuechly's RAS real quick?
Yeah, you'll have it up. Let me save this, and I want to go back to Derrick Barnes as well, so you have it.
Obviously, Luke was a lot more mental than Barnes is. Barnes is still very, very young, while Luke was in the league for 10 years. So that's one of the reasons. But
so basically, Luke Kuechly was in the 100th percentile. In terms of
which is why he went top 15 and became a future Hall of Famer. Yes. And why I said that Luke was way above the ceiling element, but style play comp.
Barnes had a better 20-yard split.
Yep, there it is.
They ran the same 40 exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
They're roughly. I mean, Kuechly's a bit taller than.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried at all about size. I'm talking about so the way he's able to read the snap and then boom, explode downhill, find the right angle here. Like his ability to recognize where the hole in the line is going to be is really, really strong. And then the ability to come downhill and find it and make the play. And then the change of directions that we've seen on the last reps before this one. That's where I'm getting more of the Kuechly, but I'm not worried so much about the size element.
Yeah, and they had pretty much the same vert. Kuechly had a 38-inch vert, and Barnes had a 37.
Okay, yeah, no, 1 inch isn't really going to make a huge difference.
No. Kuechly had the much better broad.
Okay.
Barnes benched a little bit better than him, not by much.
And that would make sense again, given that he plays a little bit more on the edge. So you're using a little bit more of that strength aspect.
Yeah, the 10-yard split was much better from Kuechly than
Obviously.
it was from Barnes. Yeah. Barnes was horrendous. But yeah, they have the exact same 40. Barnes has a slightly better 20-yard split. Quite worse shuttle and 10-yard split. Same vert, less broad, better bench.
But yeah, I mean, what you're really seeing and what I wanted to kind of showcase was that 20-yard element, because that's really what we're seeing here is not necessarily the first 5 or 10, but you're really seeing, okay, like when he comes around the end and then he has to collapse down, or when he has to change direction here and then flow down. That horizontal and then change of direction ability. And that kind of more so correlates a little bit more so to the 20 when you involve that horizontal movement plus the vertical movement. And like same thing, like you're oh man. After this is over, I'm going to put some Kuechly highlights on so I can kind of showcase on camera what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Luke went top 15, and I think he might have even been top 10 and became a future Hall of Famer for a reason. But
yeah, no, Luke Kuechly's one of the best linebackers of all time.
Yep.
Yeah, Kuechly went in 9.
Very, very deservedly so, too. He was an absolute freak. Coverage snap? Oh, yeah, and see, there's what I'm talking about, right? So they're going to rush 3 here. He's going to be in either a spy or a shallow zone of some sort. He's going to be one of these 2 guys here. Either way, you're not going to be able to see him, so it doesn't make a huge difference. Oh, yeah, so he's going to be the guy on the left here, and he just freaking explodes. And the ability to cover the ground. So this is, again, why I say not really too much of the 10 yards element, because especially when you add in the horizontal ground, that's probably about 10 yards just straight if that were literally a straight line. But you're also having to cover that horizontal element too. So you're really seeing a little bit more of that 20-yard come into play. Oh, no, that was the wrong one. He was the guy that was off screen. But still, you're seeing that 20-yard come into play. And he's just literally going to fly in off the screen here. On 4th and 9. Shout out to Purdue for beating a 3-2 Maryland team by like 30-something points.
Love it.
And yes, the same kind of thing. Right? He's in that spy role here with the 3-man rush and breaks out. Excellent pursuit angle. Excellent pursuit angle. And he has the 20-yard to be able to cover it. Probably going to be... Nope, it's actually going to be this guy here then. Nice thing is he's just shut the block. That's kind of the other element I get the Kuechly comp to, is that you really get to see the block strain comparison between the two. A lot of these more modern day linebackers that you're seeing in recent years, even your Bushes, your Whites, your Leighton Vander Esch is kind of known for that style of play. Darius Leonard is another guy, Fred Warner, on and on. Is there more block avoiders? Generally, so the guys who like to slip around blocks or slide under blocks or whatever. He's one of those guys that has more of that Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner is another one who kind of plays that way, style of linebacker where they're going through blocks or using their hands to shove blocks more so than avoid blocks, which is kind of cool to see. Nice. Appears to be a pretty solid tackler too, from what we're seeing, at least in terms of form. Which is another kind of loose Kuechly comp. So, yeah, while I pull up some Kuechly highlights in the background, do you mind reading some of his stuff at TDI?
Sure, yeah, I just got this pulled up. Shout out to Kyle Krabs for writing this. Big fan of his stuff, both on the website and in his podcast. It says Purdue's Derrick Barnes is a versatile college defender who will enter the NFL hoping to secure a permanent position and settle into a singular role.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I agree with that per se, but okay.
I do. You don't want him running from edge to high to Sam to Mike to whatever. You're putting him in as Sam or Jack, and you're starting him there the entire time.
All right then. I think he's good enough to be able to rotate between, Jack and Sam and whatever. But it doesn't really matter. He says, I like his forecast best as a rush linebacker to play in odd front looks and potentially drop his hand in the dirt on obvious passing situations.
Yep.
And the best chance to find a roster stick in the NFL is if he finds taps back into his special teams ability. Or not special teams ability, pass rush ability.
Yep.
And he played special teams early in his career with Purdue. And he thinks he can get back to that in the NFL.
Yep.
Says doesn't feel like a high ceiling player regardless of what position you project him to be in, but he's a hard-nosed physical defender with plenty of power rolled into his frame to combat opposing blockers. Because he has multiple pathways to success, the odds of a team jumping at the chance to invest are certainly high. Well, we saw that.
Wait, what was that line?
It says, because he has multiple pathways to success, the odds of the team jumping at the chance to invest are certainly high.
Success. Okay.
Yeah. I think in a regular year, I don't think we would have given up all that capital to trade up for him. But with the less knowledge on some of these players and the less depth in this draft, I think there's probably a reason that we tried to just get rid of our later picks to try to get a better player. So, going through some of his trades, it says Barnes does not offer ideal. Hold on. I'll go through his ideal role first. It says his ideal role is a rush linebacker in an odd front single gap defense.
which is probably what we're going to be.
Yeah. First step, it says Barnes does not offer ideal burst or acceleration out of his initial stance, which was probably proven with his 10-yard split. But anyway, sorry about that. But he generates power and leverage quickly through his first three steps. He's capable of rolling through or under pads, blockers, and collapsing the pocket if tackles set soft or aren't effective with their initial stun. Um, Barnes is a fairly linear athlete. He does not offer much in the way of tilt off the edge, and his successes in penetration stem from crashing or twisting into the B gap and pushing through angles or collapsing with power. Hand counters. Consistency with his counters are problematic as he will often get outreached by opposing tackles, giving up his chest early on and turning reps into a leverage battle. He will need more variety and precision in the NFL.
So here's one of the things that we got to see from Barnes in at least one situation is cutting off the passing lane, and you got to see Luke roam all the time in the middle and just undercut those routes. He's another one of those guys that's pretty well known for being a roaming backer.
Yep.
Shout out to Matt Artline for doing that pick, by the way.
Very cool.
And this is the type of thing that, and this is kind of, okay, one of those more ideal examples here, right? So you get to see Luke here, he's 59, of course, come through, and look how he identifies the hole in the line of scrimmage. He shoots through, and then once he changes that angle a little bit, rounds that angle off, and he has that slight change of direction, that's when he gains his explosion and attacks downhill. It's that very similar athletically with that 20-yard that you see from Barnes. Slides through, and then once he kind of hits that line of scrimmage adjustment, finds that pursuit angle, he explodes when he gets moving in that straight line. Right there, he kind of moves slow, and then he explodes once he gets moving. Nice undercut.
Anyway, I'm going to just read this off a bit more.
Yeah.
It says that Barnes appears to lack the desired functional length and reach of an NFL pass rusher. He has a stocky frame with broad shoulders, which will boost his overall wingspan. He has plenty of pop, and when he's stable or able to establish first contact with his hands, he's a physical, relentless player who will create turn in the shoulders of blockers when he's committed to pressing a gap or attempting to manufacture pressure by design.
So funny that you just said that, because watch this play here from Luke.
Okay.
Turns the shoulder of the blocker and opens up the gap and explodes through it to create and manufacture pressure.
Yep. And that's definitely something that I can definitely see a theme with why we are picking who we are. It's a constant theme through everyone we've drafted so far. But basically, it says Barnes has a good eye for the game and anticipation. He wins reps ugly on the edge, but nevertheless executes his primary responsibility with a fair level of consistency. He does lack the spring and bounce to flash against jet, outside run, or zone read, and will concede the perimeter against quick hitting runs. Effort and motor says you'll get everything he's got. Ideal, he'd have more tools in his toolbox to transition out of initial power rush, but his feet are relentless and he finds a fair amount of push because of his natural leverage. He's willing to play in space if called upon, just the same. He's willing to play the edge, and he shows good backside pursuit.
So here's another play here, and this is why 20 matters a little bit more than the initial 10, right? So you're starting about a little more than 5 yards off. Quarterback drops over 5 yards, but you really get the feel for that downhill thumping mindset, and you really get to see that 20-yard burst and that top end speed matter a little bit more than that initial first step with both of these guys. Anyway, keep going.
Football IQ. His exposure to multiple roles is a testament to his ability to handle assignments and read keys. Between his special teams role, stack linebacker role, and pass rush role, he's gotten a little sampling of a bunch of assignments, and that should help a team find a role for him during his first NFL season. Lateral mobility. He does not showcase a great deal of dynamic mobility in his base and hips, and that hurts his redirection skills and spring to flash and attack the football. His play in space is modest and does not offer the kind of range to favorably forecast him in a similar role at the pro level and expect a high ceiling. He can be optioned off as an edge defender stepping up to the mesh point against zone read. Versatility. He was a jack of all trades at Purdue. In a pinch, you could play him in the A or B gap, A or B level of the defense, but only in the early downs. He's an ideal dirty work player to step into kick coverages thanks to his physicality and straight line mobility. And his prospect comparison was Javon Rollin Jones, who was a UDFA in the 2018 draft out of Arkansas State, who is currently out of the league. He played for the Baltimore Brigade of the Arena Football League last in 2019.
Oh man.
So I'm just going to pull up his NFL.com grade. They had him at a 5.82 grade, which would have been backup / special team role.
Yeah, which is fair, especially initially.
Positive strengths. 3-year starter, has played both linebacker and defensive end. Quick inside slant when playing with his hand down. Bull rush had surprising power to go with natural leverage. Handles his interior linebacker work with play strength and tough demeanor. Delivers a hearty pop into climbing blockers. Power in his shoulders to stack pulling guards in the hole. Tackles with good finishing strength. Runs through his targets and wraps to finish. Was a core special teamer early on in college. Strong pro day effort with good speed, vertical, and bench numbers. Weaknesses: inconsistent diagnosis of run play development. Can be a step slow flowing with the pace of outside zone. gets trapped behind climbing blockers in space, allows lead blockers to get into his play side shoulder, will need to play off blocks more quickly, plotting feet when changing direction, doesn't play to his best speed on a consistent basis, struggles to come to balance as open field tackler. So yeah, it seems like the league wasn't quite as high on him as perhaps the Lions were.
which is fine.
Yeah.
I definitely see what they're doing and what they're going for. I mean, it's very clear that he has an elite role as a downhill guy.
Hmm.
But at the same time, he also plays sideline to sideline. So,
I'll take it from a day 3 guy.
I love the upside. I mean, I'm not seeing that he's got, well, especially, mostly these plays have been interceptions, but, like, if we can get someone who can just defend the second level as a run defender, and with the guys up front, too, and I talked about this a little bit more in a pass rushing sense, but if you got the two big guys, Levi and Aleem up front eating blocks, he's going to be able to find his way through Barnes's, through those gaps and through those holes to make those plays. So, oh God. Yeah, it just finds the hole in the line, it finds the gap, recognizes it, and explodes through. Oh man. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of differences, but in terms of the way that they defend the run, I'm not exactly displeased. So hopefully through that you kind of got to see some of the same vibes uh, that I kind of got, and of course they're very different. Luke is insane, but the way that they go about doing things is not entirely dissimilar.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on him beyond what we already looked at?
Not really. I mean, he seems fine. Good pick for the 4th round. I mean, seems like a good player.
Yeah, I think you should be able to beat out Jalen for the third spot. And if Anzalone or Collins were to get hurt, or obviously rotations still do happen at linebacker, not necessarily as often, but as you see from defensive line. But he'll get some rotational snaps in there. Obviously, get some pass rush snaps, especially in there. Uh, they were trying to do something against the run in his pass rush situations. Maybe he becomes familiar with the system over time. He is a guy that's going to be Holmes Campbell regime player. Colmes, I guess, is that a Colmes? Uh, I'm trying to think of a combo name. Anyway, he'll be a Holmes Patricia. Oh my God, it's just a Holmes Patricia. He'll be a
Very
Holmes
cool.
Campbell. He'll be a Holmes Campbell. The guy who was part of that regime that they took, that they invested in. So I do think that they'll be a little bit more willing to give him some looks over some of the guys that were here from the previous regime, like a Tabai, uh,
Holmes Bowl.
like a Jalen. Obviously, we didn't re-sign Jalen with this staff, but uh, he's going to be very interesting to kind of see play out over the next couple. Well, especially this year, I'm kind of interested to see what he does as a rookie, because I think his impact as a rookie is going to be a little bit higher than a traditional normal fourth round pick would be. So, any other closing thoughts, Keelan, before we wrap this one up?
Not really.
Cool. That being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely excited to see what he does in his first year as a Lion, and what he's able to provide for our team going forward. But for yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, all that fun stuff. And for now, peace out.